Welcome, everybody. The college football season is fast approaching, which means it's time to look at some preseason content. I'm Joe with the Game House, and today we're going to take a look at some Heisman odds. All right, as mentioned, we are going to look at some Heisman odds for the 2023 college football season, kind of go through some of the top contenders for the trophy as we go along here. These odds are from BetMGM. You can find their odds on their app or on their website. Giving them a free plug here. So let's get started, though. At the top of the list here, we have Caleb Williams, 5-1. He won the award last year as the quarterback from USC. Can he do it this year? We have to see if he can be the first player ever to win back-to-back Heismans as a quarterback. Archie Griffin is the only player to ever win 2 Heisman Awards. He won back-to-back as a running back for Ohio State. Can he do it? That's probably easier said than done. The voters don't tend to vote for the same guy twice. He has to put himself in a good position in terms of team wins. I think he can do that, but the defense needs to improve to help him. He's definitely going to be what seems like the surefire number 1 pick as we go into the season. We'll see if he can hold up there and maybe get the job done. Number 2 on the list, Jaden Daniels, quarterback for LSU. Started off last year a little bit inconsistent and shaky, but he really did turn it on at the end and helped LSU beat Alabama, helped them get to the SEC championship game. I would say this is a guy I'm probably not betting on. I don't think he can put up quite the numbers to win the award. LSU would have to, again, win the West probably, and then also maybe go to the playoff with how grueling that SEC schedule is for him to get serious recognition, because I don't know if we'll have all the stats to back it up. Quinn Ewers, quarterback for Texas, 10-1. We saw him play pretty solid football before he went down with that injury to Alabama. Still played in 10 games last year, I believe. He's got plenty of weapons. That wide receiver room is loaded. One of the top wide receiver rooms in the country outside of Ohio State. And they have a chance to get a path to the playoff. A lot of people are picking them to win the Big 12 if they can do that, and he can have a pretty good year. I mean, Texas quarterback already has some of that publicity. He could definitely get the job done and win the Heisman. Just has to stay healthy and see kind of reach up to his potential. Jordan Travis, quarterback out of Florida State, 12-1 odds. Big part of them only having 3 losses last year in the regular season. They were all back-to-back games. I like that he's a very smart player. He doesn't have the strongest arm. But he's able to scramble around and make plays with his legs as well. He'll have Trey Benson at running back. He's a key player. Johnny Wilson at wide receiver is a big target for a wide receiver. He has plenty of ample opportunity to kind of put Florida State back on the national map. Even though last year was a good year, put him a little bit better on the map, and also maybe win some awards on his way. Bo Nix, the quarterback for Oregon, 12-1. It's going to be tough for him to win the award. He has so much bad press in his history from his time at Auburn where he did not play well, but he played so good last year for Oregon. Has a lot of people thinking they could maybe make a late run at the playoff or at least the Pac-12 championship. I think he's plenty of big games, playing Washington, USC. He'll have a chance to really show what he can do. I don't know if he can really do it. There's still, while he's gotten better, there's still good Bo, which is like amazing highlight plays, but there's also still bad Bo where he makes some plays where you're kind of thinking, what was he kind of looking at there? So I don't know if he can really get the job done in that regard, but 12-1 odds for him. Drake May, 14-1. Probably the second best quarterback in terms of NFL draft prospects for next year's draft. Had a very good redshirt freshman season for North Carolina. Looked pretty poised, able to move around a little bit, solid athlete. Originally was going to play for Alabama, then signed with North Carolina. That's where his family has played a lot of sports over the years. And I think he can definitely put up some stats. In terms of winning enough games or getting enough national recognition, that's the hard part for me to see. The defense was really bad last year. They really have to improve. They need to win an ACC championship probably, or at least get to it or be in the running for it for him to get a chance to do it. And then he also has to put up a lot of stats, and those stats also have to be better than guys like Caleb Williams or Quinn Ewers or Jaden Daniels or all these guys ahead of him on the list. So it's a tough road. He's still got the NFL draft prospect, and he can do some incredible things, but he's going to need some help there to win the award. Michael Penix, the quarterback at Washington, helped them win 11 games last year, 14-1 odds this year. I think he can, same way that some of these other Pac-12 quarterbacks, they're going to have good matchups against each other, where if they match up well, they can really help their stock. If he can get Washington back to the playoff for the first time since Jake Browning was their quarterback, he could be in the mix for the Heisman. Sam Hartman at Notre Dame, 14-1, maybe getting a little bit of a Notre Dame boost there. I think he's a solid quarterback, one of the most experienced and productive quarterbacks there's been in college football over the last several years. Stepping into a position here with Notre Dame where he has the spotlight on him. He's got a good offensive line. He needs some skill position players to step up, so we'll see how that goes for him. Some big games against Ohio State, some USC, Clemson, so he'll have to really prove himself if he wants this award and also put Notre Dame in the playoff talk for him to get in that conversation. Cade Klubnik, quarterback for Clemson, 14-1 odds. We're not going to go into too much detail to the guys kind of lower on the list here, just as we get moving here. He's a guy who took over for DJ Uiagalelei, a big-time recruit. Let's see what he can do this year. I think it'd be very tough for him to win the award, but he definitely is one of these guys who, top of the list, has the talent to do it, just a matter of if everything goes his way. J.J. McCarthy, quarterback for Michigan, 18-1. Really needs to make some more big-time throws. This year, Michigan relies on the running game. If he can make some big throws and prove that he's the guy, not Blake Corum, that could be pretty good in his favor because they could split the votes from some of the Heisman voters. Carson Beck, the quarterback at Georgia, he's expected to take over for Stetson Bennett. Highly touted recruit, but let's see how he does when he gets into the game. Joe Milton, some of his odds are different. Otherwise, if you see some of our other videos, we'll see that he's 25-1, 20-1. But in that offense that Josh Heupel has put in, he can put up big stats. He did at the end of last year, filling in for Hendon Hooker. Can he do it again this year? We're about to find out. Drew Allar got limited playing time last year for Penn State, now stepping in as the starter. And he has a lot of talent around him, including Nick Singleton, Olu Fashanu on offense, the running back and offensive tackle. And if he can beat Ohio State or Penn State, make some Heisman moments, he could be in the running too. Kyle McCord is expected to take over as Ohio State's quarterback, high school teammate of Marvin Harrison Jr., also on the list for Ohio State. You could see some of the Ohio State guys splitting some of the vote between themselves, but I also could see the quarterback getting more favoritism than Marvin Harrison. But if a wide receiver does win the award, it's probably Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a guy who's supremely talented NFL bloodlines, got a really good year last year and he's going to have that chemistry with the quarterback, so he can put up some really ridiculous stats for wide receivers this year, even though a lot of attention will be on him. Next up, Blake Corum, the running back from Michigan, was in the running to kind of be a Heisman Trophy finalist last year, then got hurt. He's 30-1 here by BetMGM. It's going to be harder for him this year. He's going to split carries with Donovan Edwards, I think, a bit more. Donovan Edwards was hurt last year, and then he came back in the midseason when Corum was already on fire. And then when Corum went down, he finished the season strong. So it's going to be tough to beat him out for carries and then also get a lot of the credit when you have J.J. McCarthy higher on the list for preseason Heisman odds. Dylan Gabriel, quarterback for Oklahoma. A lot of work to do there for him to win the Heisman. Very talented player. Left-handed quarterback, always fun to watch, but, just has to get Oklahoma more relevant than they were last year to get to that point. Travion Henderson, running back Ohio State, has to stay on the field. Very talented, very good running back, but just has to stay on the field. And we're going to go down the list and kind of go through the last couple of guys now. Connor Wegman out of Texas A&M. Still have a lot to see from him before we can really trust him as being a Heisman candidate. Brock Vandagriff, the guy who's could be the quarterback for Georgia if Carson Beck doesn't win the job, so there's a lot of issues there. Cameron Rising, one of my favorite dark horses to win the Heisman. Very hard for a West Coast player who's not a USC quarterback to win a Heisman, but he's gotten Utah close in terms of the college football playoff talk with the Rose Bowls the last couple of years. Very talented player, and if he can beat some of these guys head to head, maybe he can get some kudos for that. Tyler Buckner, it says Notre Dame. He is now transferred to Alabama, so he is also, I think, in the running to get this. This is if he takes over for Jalen Milroe. It seems like there's, as Jalen Milroe is not on this list, there is some people who are kind of questioning who might be the quarterback in Alabama. There's still a competition. Nick Saban said at the SEC Media Days. So we really have a lot to learn in terms of who might be the quarterback and who can end up winning it. Now, what we do know is that they will try to run the ball a lot to open things up, and hopefully that can do that for them as they have some receivers who needs to step up as well. So this is the list of the Heisman odds. We'll see what happens here as the season goes on. Tell me who you think is going to win the Heisman this year. I mean, obviously the favorite's Caleb Williams, but we know how hard it is to win back-to-back years. These are just some of the going down the odds of some of the best players in college football. Let's see who comes out with the award. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.